connections in the Bible, but today this one's going to be personal. I'm going to talk about my youngest son. Later in life, I met a wonderful woman who wanted to get married and have a kid. So when we got married, I knew a baby would be in our future. It didn't take long to conceive. There is nothing better than a newly married couple looking forward to a baby. I was going to experience all the things I did with raising my son from a first marriage. Sure, new babies can be difficult, but as you get the rewards of parenting and them growing up, I knew I could look forward to toddler hugs, goofing around, and since we were big baseball fans, I knew this second son would follow in the footsteps of his older brother and play baseball. Then we got a phone call from the doctor's office. They started asking all kinds of weird questions about our family history. They wouldn't tell us why at first, but we knew something was wrong. It was a really long day, and then the next day came and they called again and gave us the news that our son had an extra chromosome. He had Down syndrome. To be brutally raw here, my wife and I cried for a while. It wasn't the news we wanted to hear. All those dreams for him and plans of playing baseball were gone. It's like we were mourning him, yet he was just as alive as he was the previous day. There was definitely a cloud hanging over our house that day. We scheduled a meeting with the doctor the next day, and they confirmed it in person. We were shocked at the news, and the doctor made sure we were aware of our options. Now, although we believed in Jesus at that time, we didn't have God in our lives in any way. But my wife and I both knew that abortion was not an option. It has been reported that 85% of Down's babies are aborted. That's a horrifying stat of how Down's kids are valued in our world. But eye-opening, since the first thing our doctor told us was about our options, almost like it was his preferred outcome. We'd already seen an ultrasound, he had all his parts, he was fully formed. There was no way we were going to abort. We just have to do our best with what God gave us. And then in the next few weeks, bad thoughts crept into my head. Like, what did I do for God to inflict my son with Downs? Bad thoughts indeed. Well, as my wife and I started to tell our families about the news, I will always remember the support I received from my sister. She didn't miss a beat. It's going to be okay. He'll be great. See, my father was also married twice, and my stepmother had a brother who had Downs, so my family was already used to people with special needs. It helped knowing we weren't the only ones that had gone through this. And even though we handled the news poorly at first, we went on through the rest of the pregnancy and looked forward to our son coming and how our life was going to change. It was going to change anyway, but a special needs kid was something we'd have to come to grips with. We did luck out. Half of Down's kids have heart problems and need surgery, but our son was okay there. He did have some problems with the oxygen levels in his blood. That was just 5 extra days in the hospital, and then we got to take him home. He was no different than a typical baby, changing, feeding, sleeping. The usual routines kept us rather busy. We've had our challenges. Most kids walk at 1 year old. Down's kids have underdeveloped muscles, and our son would need braces to help him walk. And we'd have to go through an early intervention program designed at helping him to develop living skills that most kids develop naturally. He'd need therapy a couple hours every day to help him along. To tell the truth, although our life was not considered normal by the world, our life was now the new normal. He was a good baby. He liked to goof around and make funny faces. And even though we had to take him every day for therapy of some sort, those baby years were a lot of fun. And the therapists were some of the most wonderful people you'd ever want to meet. I thank each and every one of them who has touched my son's life along the way. The people that work with special needs kids are just gifts from God. I see it now, knowing the kind of support we needed, we got from people like them. Well, my son learned to walk without braces at 4 years old, and that was a beautiful moment for us. Every accomplishment he succeeds at just lights up our world. He has accomplished so much in his young life. It's a testimony of his determination of overcoming his obstacles in such a cheerful way. And to have this kid just walk over to you and just give you a kiss, just melt your heart. He's 7 now and he brings so much joy into our lives. We constantly meet new people because they are attracted to our son. Strangers just come up to us just to spend a couple minutes with him. It's quite remarkable to see how he attracts people to him and how he is the center of attention. I just marvel at him being such a people magnet. It took me a couple years of raising my son to get it. God didn't take anything away from us by giving us a son with special needs. He showed us a different kind of love. We had to slow down, restructure our lives, and concentrate on my son's development to see it. Well, somewhere along the way, my wife and I both truly came to Christ and surrendered our lives to Him. Our lives fell into place. It's like everything clicked together. And here's the connection I made in my life. We had to slow down, restructure our lives to put God first. We had to quiet the world around us and concentrate on serving the Lord to maintain our own spiritual growth. That's the lesson I received through my Down son. God showed me a love I didn't know existed. It wasn't a plan we wanted, but it was the plan God had for us. He blessed us in a different and wonderful way. In fact, if God would allow me to go back to receive a typical child, I'd pick my son with his special needs every time. He's perfect just the way he is and brings so much love and joy into the world and some beautiful people into our lives. Well, here's my son Colton. Somehow this kid changed my life for the better. He taught me more about love than I learned in my life before that. That's the lesson I got. God showed me God's love through my son with Downs. Just thought I'd share this in case you hear of someone struggling with a Downs diagnosis that needs support. Let them know it's okay, he'll be great. Slow down your life and experience something that might turn out better. God might be showing you a different plan and new kind of love. God bless. Yep.
Colton.